Hello and welcome. Today we're going to take a look at a few functions, COUNTA, unique, COUNTIF, and we'll do a little bit of number converting here. Now, using these ones, it's helpful in order to get a count based off of some value that is specific. So imagine you have this data set here, and you're asked to see what departments are there and how many members are in each department. Maybe it'll ask you for the percentage, and then in that, let's also get the total number of, people. Now, to start off with this, let's get the total number, and this is going to be equals COUNTA. Now, count is just the number of numeric values in the data set. So COUNTA is the values. So that just means any of the values. So we want this to be in the department. You could choose any of these ones because they all have the same amount of rows. Just make sure that you're starting here at 3. I'm just going to hold Shift down, Shift Command down, and that'll go all the way down to the bottom of the data set. And you could stop it here. You could also go all the way down to the bottom if you know that this report's going to have more. So let's keep it like this so it's dynamic. And this should be good. I mean, I'm going to do function F4, and then that'll keep it so it'll stay on those same values versus pulling it down. Again, you didn't need to use those. That just locks in that reference row and column. Now, let's get the count of the departments. So for this one, this is going to be equal unique. So this will be the unique rows in the provided source range. So in this case, it's just going to be the department. And let's push this down for some more. So the first argument in the syntax is the range. So this is where we're going to be looking, and it's just going to be the department. The optional ones are by column and exactly once. We're not going to use them in this one, but you can read about them. It's just if it's going to filter the data by the columns or rows. So in this case, we're doing the rows, so we just can leave it there. Exactly once is if it's going to return the entries with no duplicates, and that is what we want. We just want all of the unique ones there. Oops. So let's start equals, I'm going to push this up so I can start on 3, and then holding Shift, Command, and then down. Oh, it's not working there. Okay. Well, what you can do here, I want it to be the entire column starting at 3. So you can do the :D, and that's going to go all the way down to the bottom. I do want to have this, I mean, again, it's not necessary in this case. I'm not going to move it up or down, but I'm going to just keep these rows and columns locked. Press Enter, and now we have all of the unique values here. Now, this is what we call spill. So for the unique, it's only in I3. Now here it just shows middle school and elementary if I go down. So this is one that you have to be careful. If you have characters in here, so let's say here you start typing and then I push enter, we're going to get an error. If you go and just hover over it, it'll say the array result it cannot be expanded because it would overwrite in I11. So if you ever see this, especially with a larger one, you can just go to whatever row it says and cell, and then just delete that, and then it'll come back down. So those are our unique departments here. Next, we want to find the number of members. So again, what you could do with this, or kind of showing like you might, the old way, the long way would be, okay, administration, here's 1, 2, 3, and just kind of manually count it. You could do it in this case, but it would take a little bit of time. So let's make a function equal COUNTIF. So this one is going to be a condition crossed a range. So there's going to have 2 arguments, both required, the range and then the criterion. So COUNTIF, it'll be whatever range you want, and then what you want to count it by if it is that. So the example they give, if it's over 20. So the range we already know, it's going to be the, I did that again, D3 and then D. Now I have it the same as the unique just because that's the one that we're working with, and you might as well keep it the same. I'm going to just lock them in. It is, again, not necessary since actually it is in this case. The one time it is, I say it's not. You have to at least do this top one. Otherwise, while you pull it down here, because we need to have it for each of these, if you didn't lock it, it would actually start at D3 and then go D4, D5, etc. So this is the time to do it. So now the criterion. Now this is in the departments already. So what I want to count it by is if this department equals the department over here. So I'm going to click administration, and I don't want to lock this one in because when I pull this down, I want to be able to have it then look at middle school on this row and then elementary. So I'm just going to keep it like that and then close it off, enter, and it actually suggests the autofill all the way down. So I'm going to do command enter, and there we go. So in this, you can see that there should be 4 administration here, 14 here, all of those. One thing you can do quickly is you can highlight those, and at the very bottom, you should have this automatic kind of like suggestion. It has the sum, the minimum, the maximum, some different things here, and that shows 100, which also equals the total here. So this is looking right. Another way, if you want to double check, is you can take one of the ones that would be fairly easy to count, like administration. I'm just going to do Command C and then Command F. That brings up the Finder window. Command V, and then that's going to show all and highlight all of the administration. So it says 5. Now this count is 4, and that's because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 in this column D, and then the 5th one is the one right here for the unique. So that checks out. And you could do some more of that testing over on these ones, but because it equals the total here and that one checks out, it looks like this is working. Now, the one thing, if you're getting some numbers different, and it might have not been the case for this, it depends on those, is if you didn't lock this in, the D3, and then pulled this down, some of the numbers might actually switch. Let's see. In this case, it didn't, but if you look here, it's D3, then D4, then D5. That means that here, it's starting on this and going down. So if one of the departments up here actually is not getting counted, that would be a common error. So I'm just going to put that $sign back to lock the rows. Again, in this case, it did not make a difference, but that would probably be the most common issue that I could foresee. So now we're going to do the percentage. So this is going to be some basic math, and we haven't gone through these, but basically you can do cells like 4, and then you can just do a plus for plus. So you could add those two, minus them. You could multiply with the asterisk, or you can use I want to say that's backslash, the slash more to the right, which on my camera might actually be this way if it's mirrored. But anyway, the one basically showing this one's over. And that's going to be dividing. So to find the percent, if we know the total, we just want to do this divided by the total. Now, if we want to pull it down, we have to make sure that this cell always stays the same. So I'm going to do function F4. You might just need to push F4, or you can put the $2 signs there. Push enter, and then suggested autofill, command or control, enter. And there we go. We have the percentages, although these are just the decimals. So if you want to switch this to actually show the percentage of those, what you would do is you would go to Format, Numbers, and then percent. And there we go. Since it's out of 100, it's fairly quick to be able to say, okay, it's 4%. 50 is 50% of 100. So we can take a look there. Now, the next thing, let's just say that we're adding some more data here, and we're just looking at the departments. So I'm just going to take, I don't know, let's do this many, copy, and paste it down here. So these are just, what is it? I did 11 rows here. So let's go back up, and now there's the extra 11, and the percentages have switched. So if we know that we're getting more and more in this, and you need it to be dynamic, all of this will just continue to get updated. Similarly, let's say that one of these new additions was a new title. So I forget which ones we already have there, so I'm just going to do the... I can't even think of a good... Okay, I have to look. I'm sorry. I can't. Oh, we don't have IT. That's embarrassing. Let's say this one is IT, IT, IT. Now, you can see here in the unique, it just added it to the bottom. So these ones, if you go down a little further, you can actually get it too. Same for this. And again, right now, since those, there'd be 0 because it's not catching anything here. So, if you don't want those, you just have to cut it and just remember. Or you could nest it in if statement or something else to get it cleaned up if you do need that. But again, the biggest part of it right here, this is going to be dynamic. You can pull these down and have them be dynamic, and your totals and your numbers will continue to change. So, if you just get a whole bunch of IT, there we go, it'll boost that percentage and adjust. So again, for the percentage, it'll sum to 1, which makes sense because it's 1 would be 100%. And there we are. So again, there's a lot of different ways that you can use this. I guess the other one too, let's say that your range, and this will be the last thing, is actually E, and that's, we're going to get a reference. Error, let's move this over here. You can actually get dynamic based off of 2 of them. So let's say that you have a department and a sub-department, like an administration, and then have it be the assistant or something like that. You can actually have those be all of those. Since all of these names should be, the same other than the ones down here, it's going to show all of these as unique values. So I'm just going to undo. But again, there's a very useful case for that. If you know that you have like a department and a sub-department, you could use this for that as well. And it'll give every single department and then sub-department in it. So you'd have like administration, principal, administration, vice principal. And if you had 2 vice principals, those ones just show up twice. So it's a little bit more on the like advanced aspects of those. But again, a lot that you can do with this, a lot of data that you can do. Hopefully you find that helpful. And yeah, I mean, it's a lot of insights that you can get. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye now.